Good evening, my friends. This is the Grimflayer. Hope you're doing very well tonight. That's right, evening. I'm gonna have to get used to playing a little bit later than usual. As I get home from my new work schedule at a later hour, I will sometimes have to play like this. Hopefully, I am not too tired to be an energetic and sharp-witted host and pilot here for us tonight. We'll have to see. There might be a bit of a learning curve with that. Speaking of a learning curve, this is my first league ever with very, very powerful deck. One of Modern's top 3 decks at least, possibly even higher than the top 3, possibly in the top 2, some would say in the top 1. Rakdos Prowess, a very, very powerful archetype, and one that even though the total extent of my play is just like a small handful of games in the tournament practice lobby, gotten in quickly before bed over the last couple nights, I do imagine that I will be mostly pretty comfortable with it, because I do have a moderate background in mono-red prowess, where there's a lot of overlap, and I do have an extensive background in black-based midrange, and this is basically a mashup of the two decks, and it's really powerful, the two archetypes, I should say. So, we have to shout out the donor here, the supporter of this donation league, and whose name this league is played, is Mully, aka Nick Hernandez, and of the Veil tier supporter, super, super generous, and as if that wasn't great enough, when I reached out to him recently to say, hey, you've qualified for a donation league, Zendikar Rising's coming out, anything you want to see, and in his words, he said, let's read it exactly, he goes, you know, I've been thinking about this, and I guess I was just kind of interested in what you were interested in, and you do love to hear that, so he was giving me free rein, and I mentioned I was really excited to play BGX with some new additions, but I was also itching to play this deck, and he said, why don't we go with Rakdos Prowess? And I will not go too deeply into the list here, but it is a Kroxa variant as opposed to a Kiln Fiend variant, which kind of from the jump, when I started looking at these lists, looked a little bit better to me, but there is something to be said, of course, for the proactive nature of Kiln Fiend, the higher incidence of turn 3 kills, and of course higher incidence of turn 4 kills even as well. But Kroxa looked like a slam dunk fit in the deck, and I think as time has unfurled since then, almost every challenge list, 5-0 list is packing main deck Kroxas. Now, many of those lists are also packing Kiln Fiend in the side for when they need to speed up the clock. I'm not doing that. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into the tech, but basically, I looked at all the recent high-placing lists. I picked the one I liked the best, and then I made a couple of modifications to it, including getting rid of the Kiln Fiends in the side. Now, maybe they should be there, but it's just against my mid-range sensibilities. I do want a wide variety of answers in my sideboard, and maybe time will prove that incorrect, but I don't have anything to compare it to. This, again, will be my first league. And one thing of note is that Cleansing Wildfire is in the deck. Really exciting. This is my first league of any kind post Zendikar Rising. In fact, the cards have only been available for the better part of today. And so we're going to get to test out a brand new archetype for me in the form of Rakdos Prowess, which I think is really strong. And we're going to get to test out a brand new powerful printing at common, no less, of Cleansing Wildfire. So thank you so much to Mully, our lovely Of the Veil tier supporter, whose idea this was and whose donation league this is. Thank you as well to all Patreon supporters, including our newest one, an Inquisitor named Ian McCreerick. I hope I got your name correct, my friend. The Celtic names, you love to see them. They can sometimes be a little difficult to pronounce, but I'm assuming that's McCreerick. And that's what we're going to go with. So, Ian, thank you for signing up. And let's play, for the first time ever, some Rakdos Prowess. And let's also declare a companion, which is something that we used to do as a matter of course, and now it's more of a rarity, but still feels very powerful to do so despite the nerf. This hand is weird in that if the opponent doesn't put any cards in the graveyard, our Klings don't have targets. Also, the draw of this beautiful basic swamp in the opener is not great, because we cannot just dump out all creatures that way on turn 2. Nevertheless, it definitely does look strong enough to keep. Just pointing out a couple of kind of unusual ways in which the hand does fail. Now, I've been at work all day, so I haven't really been able to see much of what's going on the first full day of Modern with ZNR available, but I do... Whoa! What was that swirly thing? I guess we've got some interface updates, too. Oh, we're against a Tron deck. Well, Cleansing Wildfire about to see some sideboard action right away, huh? Alright, well, I guess we do just dump out all the creatures. But sadly, they have put nothing into the graveyard, and we have not managed to draw even a fetch land or something to cling, so we really need them to do that, or for ourselves to do that. We gotta get something going here. Oh man, just more lands, huh? Really rough. Really, really rough stuff. I'm just gonna main phase this. I'm sure it's technically better to do it post-side, or post-combat, right? Bluff some action, but yikes. Big yikes. It's so unusual. Though one of the reasons Cling is so good is because it's almost always something you can just fire off proactively, you know what I mean? It's gonna do something useful, many cases, by attacking the opponent's resources. Okay, Kolaghan's Command, that's a card that we can use. It's going to help us curve out, you know? Just really unorthodox opening for us not to have access to that. But anyway, it's alright. So, are we going to begin by clinging the Sylvan Scrying? I would say most likely yes. And if so, is there any reason we need double red? I don't really think so. So let's just cling to start. Maybe we want to play like a fetch land instead of a swamp if we draw one. We've found Kroxa. Do we like Kroxa into Cling better than Kolaghan's Command? I think we do. Now our deck's online. And we'll Cling whatever they pitch. I guess unless it's a creature, then maybe we do, maybe we don't. Then we'll have to start doing a little math. Okay, Karn Liberated, sure, I'll Cling that. Alright, that was a nice turn. Okay, so if the opponent just, like, plays an artifact and... Oh, okay, they have Natty Tron. And they have Ugin. You hate to see it, but... let's see. There are some things they're dead to. That's not one of them. Okay, so if we go Swifty, attack the opponent, shock the opponent, have them discard, we put them to 2, and they're dead to many things. I guess that's probably the thing to do. Or should we buy back Kroxa? It's an interesting prospect. I think I still might target them with the discard mode. Escaping Kroxa does seem pretty feasible in the near future. We're just ignoring Ugin. The benefit of having another haste threat in hand. The new interface has got me tripping out a little bit here, guys. But it's no major changes, right? Okay, so Ugin gets to deal with the Swifty, and then... Yeah, as expected, they do tick up, which is getting us closer to fueling Kroxa. It can also allow us to play Lurrus if we'd like, and buy back a Swiftie that way, sandbagging the other one in hand. Opponent with a Karn the Great Creator, though, which really punishes us for playing the K command last turn. They probably get Ensnaring Bridge here, unless they have something I'm not thinking of. We already, had them dead to a burn spell, though, so let's just, draw Bolt and win. That'd be cool. Trinisphere. Alright, still dead to Bolt. Mishra's Bauble? Oh, how punished can we get? How punished can we get for them getting Trinisphere? Well, one option is to play Lurrus, simply because it is more mana efficient in the face of Trinisphere, but Monastery Swiftspear is going to put them down to 1, which means they could be dead to yet another Swiftie, but we've already seen 3. I don't know how good that is. Any burn, including Lava Dart, will just kill them. Well, no, maybe not in the face of Trinisphere. Lava Dart won't kill them, so yeah, I guess we just play the Swiftie. If only we could, right? If only we could. Bauble would have been lethal. Really weird game 1 against Tron. If we didn't have such unusually dead-in-hand clings, we would have gotten there. So opponent's got to be a little bit careful here. Well, I guess not, just simply because they get to gain 7 life and virtually win the game next turn with Ugin. So maybe we scratch that. Sundering Titan. Wow, okay. They're doing a lot. I guess we just need to draw, burn, and kill them more than ever. Oh, the Titan Trinisphere lock actually has us pretty dead. Yep, I guess we're pretty dead to a combination. Oh, now we draw Lightning Bolt. Get out of here. Okay. Okay. That was like the most feel-bad loss against Tron I can possibly imagine. Getting them all the way down to 1. We've got so many ways to have killed them before they got that stuff online, including just like having opened on a fetch land or something. The Klings get online earlier. We get over the line with ease. It's not to be. And then right at the end there, of course, we draw the Bolt we've been begging for the entire game. Can't cast it because the opponent went Trinisphere off of Great Creator into Sundering Titan. Pretty crazy low odds way to lose that game, but that's all right because we are playing Cleansing Wildfire out of the side. I think the matchup should be really good, and we do have Abrades and Angrath's Rampages to bring in, which are probably pretty good as well. It might behoove us to wonder whether there's such a thing as having too much of these kind of shatter effects that can be bad against them going like Tron into Planeswalker. But given the relevance of Karn the Great Creator as a win condition and that main deck, I mean, it's not that he would be sideboarded, but the fact that we did lose to it in game 1, you understand, right? Worth noting also, this would be a matchup where we would bring in Kiln Fiends if we have them, but we don't. So we're going to cut Fatal Pushes. I'm interested in trimming Klings. We could trim around the edges with like a Seal of Fire and Unearth. These are all pretty cuttable. Abbot of Keral keep a little slow for the matchup, but still worth leaving in over some other stuff. I think trimming around the edges here is pretty correct. Let's do it. Sands a keep. So at the risk of losing to their turn 1 map, I do believe it's correct to get a creature down, say go. But if, like, the lack of Thoughtseizing their T1 map is the difference maker, then we'll be pretty sad. Okay, opponent doesn't have a turn 1 map, and they kept a full grip. So, I guess in this case we are still just going on the beatdown plan here. Feels more like mono red prowess openings, right? Having double Thoughtseize in the back pocket feels pretty good. Okay, interesting decision point here. Do we double Thoughtseize, or do we go Swifty into Thoughtseize? I'm thinking about Swifty into Thoughtseize. It'll really suck if they have, like, 2 Wormcoil engines. Natty Tron into, like, 2 Wormcoil engines, but if they don't, you know, we should be able to hopefully kill them next turn, because we're going to swing for 8 this turn through, like, Karn, Ugin, stuff like... Or they won't be able to cast Ugin next turn, is what I mean to say. What if we give up 1 point of damage by Thoughtseizing first? Maybe that's the play. Hopefully it won't punish us. Okay, so opponent does not have Natty Tron, but they do have Sylvan Scrying. I think we're just going to take that. They have too many payoffs in hand to worry about doing otherwise, in my view. Alright, so they desperately need to draw land, naturally, or even better for them, some kind of a tutor effect, and they're still dead to us doing what we did, which is draw some kind of 1 mana action here. Let's take an Ugin out of spite. Let's cast a Cling, and let's swing for lethal. That's more like it. That's how it should be. That's how it should be against Tron. Alright. Can we get there on the draw? Well, I certainly hope so. Nothing in the sideboard looking all that exciting. Again, a card like Cling is okay, but I kind of like trimming away a little bit. I think we're correctly configured. Let's go again. Let's go again, let's go again. We got Cleansing Wildfire in hand. We got it, it's a keep. OP keeping 7. Was it all 3? Maybe, no, they mulled to 6 in game 1. Still, you hate to see that out of Tron. Hand's a keeper. Turn 1 Sphere. Soul-Scar Mage into Cleansing Wildfire seems like the line we like to take, right? Okay, they've got Urza's Mine. Is this Sylvan Scrying? No, it is not. Okay, well, Thoughtseize seems like a really good draw, but let's just go Wildfire. Destroy target land, may search for a basic land tapped. Got it. And we're just main phasing this because we need that Prowess trigger. First of many Cleansing Wildfires that will be cast on this channel, I'm certain. And we drew Kolaghan's command off of it, so just something else helping us curve out. Opponent's got a backup Urza's Mine. That one feels pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. That does feel pretty bad. So, one option here is going Abbot of Keral Keep to go wide and just hoping they don't have Tron. And also hoping, you know, they don't have like a low curve payoff like Thought-Knot Seer. We don't have a good way to take care of Thought-Knot Seer cleanly, so part of me wants to Thoughtseize. But maybe we are still supposed to lead on Abbot, because we could always get lucky and flip a Thoughtseize. Or land, still letting us Thoughtseize, and if not, maybe we let whatever Abbot's card is go, and then cast Thoughtseize anyway. Alright, we find a land, so we're rewarded. Cool. So we kind of get to do it all here. Opponent does not have Tron rolled up. They do have Wurmcoil Engine, Thought-Knot Seer, Double Ugin, and Blast Zone. Pretty scary stuff. Beating a Thought-Knot Seer could be hard enough that I think we're supposed to take it and hope to fade them finding Tron. Ugin and Wurmcoil are all very bad for us, right? Especially Double Ugin, so yeah, that's what our hand is signaling. Let's follow the signal. Let's get in there. OP with a Chromatic Sphere for turn. Into Expedition map. Dang. Alright, we need to draw another Cleansing Wildfire, I guess. We don't. We don't. Okay. Probably can't win from here. I guess the move is to cycle Unearth, maybe fetch to Finn, cycle Unearth in the hopes that we can draw exactly Cleansing Wildfire. Come on, one time, Mishra's Bauble. I'm going to Bauble myself here. We're about to draw Abbot of Keral Keep. Alright, I mean, we're going to try to slog through it, but with those payoffs in hand, it doesn't seem particularly possible. There's an Ugin. They found Chromatic Star as well. Sunbaked Canyon. So once again, I think I'm supposed to try to dig for Cleansing Wildfire here. Swifty. Okay. Swifty's not quite doing it, but could be part of a good turn next turn, so I'm actually... I'm going to play an Abbot and try to draw Thoughtseize. I'm going to be really sad if we hit like a Wildfire now, but... Abbot into Abbot. Yeah. Not the best, is it? Let's say go here. Ugin ticks up, sure. Wurmcoil Engine. The fact that they didn't begin by cracking Star makes me think they found another good thing, but maybe Wurmcoil's just an automatic play. But, you know, if they could draw like an Ulamog or something. Yikes, Thought-Knot Seer. Bruh. Alright. Yep, I still don't think we can win. If they keep ripping gas like this, we definitely won't win. Maybe we never had much of a shot. Once they found the Tron land in short order after we saw that they did not have it. Taking K command makes sense there. Okay, Thoughtseize. Ugin and Scavenger Grounds. Alrighty. Well, opponent's hand was really good because they had Tron with 7, basically. They'd, like, kept 7 and were set up for early Tron. We wildfired them off of Tron. We had good disruption otherwise. They just had a huge density of really relevant payoffs and good redundancy for Tron. And they continue ripping gas. Ugin the Ineffable. Alright. That should be enough for me to concede. I guess we take a draw step, but very depressing loss against Tron. There's Lightning Bolt. Just a sad reminder of how we could easily have won Game 1. Oh well, what are you going to do? There's Tron for you. It seems like a really good matchup for us, but we didn't get there. Round 2 here. Declaring our fine companion. Opening on the only land in our entire deck that does not produce red, with an otherwise fantastic hand we have to mulligan. Basic Swamp once again showing us its face in our opening hand. Not good, guys, not good. But this looks like a pretty solid 6. We are going to keep it. Interesting question as to whether we put that Basic Swamp back or maybe the Sunbaked Canyon. Obviously, that's greatly dependent on exactly what the matchup is. I think I'm going to take the safer line of putting Sunbaked Canyon back. We're just going to play Soul-Scar and go, try to have an explosive turn next turn. You know, we'll slow roll the Bauble a little bit. And we'll see what the opponent's up to. Watery Grave into Hedron Crab. Oh, it's 8 Crab Mill. That's kind of exciting. That's kind of cool, not gonna lie. Kind of cool. Alright. Open on a Thoughtseize here. Opponent has the Ruin Crab, and an Inquisition of Kozilek, and a Drown in the Loch. Interesting indeed. So, I actually think we're supposed to take Ruin Crab. Because these cards are how they kill us. We don't have any answers to them right now. Obviously, letting them drown our threat isn't good. Then I'm going to Bauble. No, that's just bad. That's just bad. Never mind that. I was going to say Bauble ourselves, but no, that's not what we're doing. Alright, I'm going to just go for the race here. Cling away my own Thoughtseize. Hope to draw a land, frankly, to blank their Inquisition. Okay. We draw Lava Dart, that's actually pretty fine. As far as blanking Inquisition goes, at least we'll get value out of it. In the graveyard, and they're about to draw Surgical Extraction. Which is an interesting draw in the context of this matchup, and also in the context of Hedron Crab, right? Okay, so far we have nothing in hand that's surgicalable, to coin a term. And yes, our threat gets drowned. As expected. Putting Lurrus into hand against that Inquisition is going to be a little bit rough. Then they're just going to main phase extract Soul-Scar Mage. I don't think that's the play. I think if you're going to do that, you definitely at least wait till the draw step, right? We draw Abbot of Keral Keep and Unearth. Seems really good. Let's begin on Abbot. Just hitting a land here would be fine, and we hit Blackcleave Cliffs. Beautiful. They also... Wow, they didn't take away the Soul-Scar in our graveyard. Yeah, they forgot to click that one, so now we actually have an Unearthed target where otherwise we would not have. Yeah, so some things going our way. Let's just put it that way. Alright, so in the face of some pretty heavy disruption and attrition, we've just rebuilt a board out of nowhere. Opponent's crab going unanswered, though, is definitely a little rough for us. We could still definitely lose, but they fire off the Inquisition. Now we have permission to put Lurrus in hand, which is really good. So why don't we be... I'm going to main phase a Cling here. Let's Cling, drown in the lock away. Monastery Swiftspear. I think we're supposed to put Lurrus in hand. Well, it's all the way down to 11. Putting in Lurrus in hand this turn is a way to increase the clock next turn, because we can play Lurrus, buy back Bauble, which is going to give 3 threats a Prowess trigger once we play Swifty. We also have Lava Dart to flashback. Okay, so we know, I think, neither card in the opponent's hand. So we gotta fade, like, I guess Field of Ruin into double Archive Trap. Still wouldn't kill us, would it? So we only had 1 basic left to fetch. Okay, mill 10, sure. Alright, there's a Mishra's Bauble. So, OP with 1 card in hand. So one line here is Lurrus, Swifty, we could even play the Graveyard Swifty, Bauble from hand. That's like very value positive. But another really interesting line is like, because, okay. Like, we just don't want them to have a mill spell in hand and then draw another mill spell for a turn and we just get cheesed out that way. So I'm considering escaping Kroxa here to get that card out of their hand. We can still play the Bauble from hand and force them into a chump block, right? Because we have Lava Dart. And if there's a land in hand, it could be lethal. So I guess we will escape Kroxa here. There might be a couple other ways to go about this, but this seems like one good way for sure. Oh, there was a land, GG. Think that's concession lag, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, opponent put together some good stuff, and they definitely had some interaction lined up well, and they found some mill spells to start to turn the corner. But like, and it seems like another good matchup for us. Again, I think the deck's just really strong, honestly. It has predators, but there's a lot of matchups I'm feeling that I'm going to be like, yep, seems like a good matchup to me, right? So I don't know, because it's day 1 of Zendikar Rising, what the mill decks are cutting for the crabs, right? But I think the old mill protocol, I'm assuming they're still playing like Mesmeric Orb, would be to maybe play like an Abrade and an Angrath's Rampage or two. And also Collective Brutality to take away some of their interaction or mill spells, while also being able to kill Hedron Crab, but note that it does not kill Ruin Crab. So Abrade is nice because it can kill Ruin Crab. Angrath's Rampage can kill both. I still probably don't want to play Fatal Push, because, like, besides the 8 crabs, they're not going to have targets. But maybe with 8 crabs around, we should consider pushes as well. Finally, Nihil Spellbomb, they could play some graveyard effects. They could also play things that get better when there's more cards in graveyards, like Visions of Beyond. Who knows, right? So, Abbot of Keral Keep is maybe a little slow. Once again, trimming around the edges is probably going to be correct here. Could see losing a Seal of Fire. I think we're supposed to leave in all the stuff that's good when they happen to mill it, like Kroxa, Unearth, Lava Dart. Cling. Yeah, we're not going to have many cuts to make. That's our big problem here. So let's cut a couple of Abbots and... I like everything else I see. Maybe we'll trim another Seal of Fire and let us sideboard a little bit conservatively until we know more of their exact configuration. So to me, that would be an Abrade, because it can kill both crabs and an orb and other stuff like Bridge. 2 Brutalities, because it's also modal. And then... let's leave 2 Fatal Push in, maybe just play 1 Nihil Spellbomb. Seems pretty good to me. But with more refined knowledge of the opponent's 60 post side, you could tweak it in one direction or another pretty well, I'm sure. This hand's a little light on action, but it's probably still keepable. Soul-Scar, Bauble, Brutality. We've got a redraw of Sunbaked Canyon. I think keeping this is fine, but... probably on the lower powered side of keepable hands. Kolaghan's Command, okay. Once again, slow roll the Bauble a bit here. Yeah, I mean, I can see arguments for, like, going up on Fatal Push. In the past, it's been like, okay, Hedron Crab's the only real pushable target, so I will, you know, shy away from pushes and use other modal spells, basically, to kill the crabs in BGX decks. Once again, opponent just main phasing a Surgical. Like, yeah, you just wait till the draw step, I believe, is the play here. And they go down a card to do that. And then they play a land. Got it. Okay, so Brutality to kill the crab, for sure. Do we want to pitch a land to duress them? I think I do. Alright. I'm going to run out both Baubles first. I was going to say, let's Bauble ourselves to see what we're going to draw. That makes their discard better, right? So, maybe we'll just run out both Baubles and then execute our play here. Escalate, kill your crab. Drain you. Not drain you, duress you. Drain you is bad. Duress you, I hope, will be good. Wooded Foothills goes down, alright. Hope they don't have, like, Spell Pierce. Or Spell Snare, right? That'd be pretty unusual, but, you know, you could see them playing Spell Pierce, I suppose. But it's going to resolve, they're just going to get a little mill value first. Okay, now let's hope the Brutality hits. Yes, we get Drown in the Lock, so they have only lands in hand. Feels pretty good, man. Feels good. So on their upkeep, let's Bauble. They're about to draw Visions of Beyond, which is just a cantrip for the moment. Yield until end step, and then we will, I guess, just Bauble again. Okay, they've got Inquisition coming off the top. Good to know about that. Lightning Bolt, Lava Dart, Bloodstained Mire are our 3 draws. Interesting. Alright, it's all a little bit slow here. Alright, I'm definitely going to fetch now. Before they find an archive trap. That's definitely piece of business number 1. And then I guess we just pass, you know. In response to the discard spell, I guess we K-command. Buy back a creature, force them to discard. Stay ahead on resources that way. It's certainly not ideal, but I guess just better than letting it resolve. And better, in my view, than, like, putting a Lurrus into hand only to lose it to the Inquisition that they're 100% always going to fire off this turn. So Visions cantrips them into a Field of Ruin. Field is what they pitch. And Misty Rainforest is, I guess, the one unknown in their hand, and now they dump it out. Fair enough. Alrighty. We draw Fatal Push. Time to put Lurrus into hand. And we don't need to hold up that push this turn because Lightning Bolt will kill anything they find, any of the crabs. Alright, so do we go Lurrus, buy back Swifty? Most likely. Abbot of Keral keeps a fine play too, but alright, seems good. Opponents found a surgical extraction. Well, they're going to hit this time because we drew an Abbot. Okay, you got us. You got us good. You got us good. Unearth with nothing to buy back. You know, like saving a surgical to blow out an Unearth is an example of some pretty good use case, right? So, we got a lot of prowess triggers this turn. 3 total, before, like, we could get 4. It's not lethal, right? So why don't we just get the Bauble value here? And then I might Bauble myself to see what we're going to draw, and therefore will inform my sequencing about whether or not to crack Sunbaked Canyon, how aggressively to fire off the burn here. Opponent has a fetch land up, so they could mess up our scry of their top deck with Mishra's Bauble, so while under other circumstances looking at their top deck would be good, I don't think this is one of them. Lava Dart off the top. Alright, I think I'm going to draw the Lava Dart and fire both darts off here. At the risk of losing them both to a third surgical, maybe wanting to cash in a land. I think that's the play. Alright, so opponent very dead on board. Obviously, they could have removal or permission, but... Okay, there's the concession. They don't make us play out the last turn. A couple of pretty easy wins against Mill. Seems like a really good matchup, but then again, so did Tron, and they did get us, so nice to get on the board with what seems like a very powerful deck, you know, like... just from the moment I saw this one and from the moment I picked it up, I was like, yep, deck looks really, really, really ridiculously strong. And so far, despite the loss in round 1, it does kind of feel that way. So onward we go to round 3. Okay, round 3, had to take a break to help put the kiddos to bed, but we've won every die roll. That is pretty lucky, pretty good for us. Nice to be on the front foot with a deck like this. Double Sunbaked Canyon. The hand looks really fine. Hope we're not in a mirror, or especially against burn, but I will keep. And I do think in the blind, fetching and shocking is correct with this Bloodstained Mire, which of course is going to make things that much worse for our prospects against a burn opponent of some kind, but going to assume that's not the case. I think I'm going to cast one of my 2 baubles here, kind of split the difference between getting max prowess value next turn and also getting maximum chances of, like, curving out well. A Thragtusk is revealed. Is this Tron again? Yeah, it is. Okay, Tron kept... Did they kept 7 or did they mull to 6? They mulligan to 6. Alright. Well, we need to find Disruption stat. We found Kroxa and Kolaghan's Command. Those things do disrupt. Will they be quick enough? I don't know. But we're going to lead on Kroxa. We're going to follow on a Bauble. See that the opponent is about to draw another Thragtusk. Is that correct, or did I Bauble too quickly back to back? In any case, like, even one Thragtusk is bad enough, right? There's the forest. Hope you holding up Expedition map. Us with a Swifty. Alright, I guess we're probably looking at a bit of a setup turn here. Let's go Abbot, see what we draw. Ooh, okay. I should have thought more about this. Another Abbot, okay, whatever, not punished. Like, getting that out of the way is kind of fine. So we'll just go Mountain Swifty, attack for 2. It's not that exciting, but opponent's not going to turn 3 Tron us. Maybe it'll be good enough. I should have thought more about whether I wanted to... like, try to play any land I could draw off of Abbot, or whether I wanted to play, like, a Thoughtseize if I drew that, or maybe a Cling to Dust, because we didn't have another black land to play. So, yeah, maybe some growing pains for me with the deck. I didn't think too hard about that one, where perhaps I should have. Alright, we keep drawing just, like, really slow things. Or we have another Abbot of Keral keep off the top. Man, it's just not good enough against Tron. Most likely. But I guess, once again, like, putting a body to the board and hoping they don't have Tron ready to go is pretty good. Maybe finding a Thoughtseize or a Burn Spell or something. We find Blackcleave Cliffs, really? Alright, well, I'm gonna play it. Just because with double Sunbaked Canyon in hand and the prospect of opponent, like, not Tronning us, but also sticking in the game with a Thragtusk, I guess we're supposed to get that land down. Okay, OP with Sanctum of Ugin into, what is this? It's Karn the Great Creator. Sure. Okay, so right now we have, okay, they get Relic, that makes some sense. Unearth. Alright, that's probably lethal, but let's do the math. So we're getting 2 Prowess triggers across the board. That's putting us, yeah, we got it. So Unearth the Kroxa. Then we K-command the opponent to shock and discard, and they're very dead. Maybe we get a little more info. Karn liberated. And they'll concede before showing us another card from hand. Okay, so a Tron player with a slow start out of the gates, and we kill them turn 5 with a lot of disruption. It's not going to be fast enough, and we had some really, really slow things going on against a lot of progressions, but we did, you know, Abbot, even though the Abbots were kind of bad to see in some ways, they did take us through the deck, you know. One Abbot kind of exiling the other Abbot, and then making a slow but decent Prowess body was okay, right? It was okay. A lot of progressions we have kill them faster, but a lot of their progressions just kill our progression, right? So once again, we can play Angrath's Rampage and Abrade for supplementary interaction, and Cleansing Wildfire seems very good. Once again, we're probably supposed to trim around the edges, losing fatal pushes, a cling or 2, let's say 2, trim 1 Unearth. They even had a Relic main deck, so I'm even happier to do that, and then trim like a Seal of Fire seems fine. Yeah. Run it back. Alright. With opponent mulling, are we supposed to keep this? I mean, it goes fast, we want to do that. It's got 2 redraws. Oh, I don't know. This is probably... Would I keep this if it was a 6? I think the answer is probably yes. Huh. I'm trying to kind of like shed my old mono-red Prowess instinct, which would be to keep like a Swiftspear hand against a mulling Tron opponent. Like, we can do so much better with this configuration, with Thoughtseizes, with Cleansing Wildfires. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. So I am going to keep it because it's proactive. And, like, we do have the floor of, like, buying Lurrus back, but maybe that's not good enough. I'm not sure. Marked me down as kind of agnostic about this keep, but, like, the functional hand with Swifty into Bauble on turn 1 in this matchup has got me kind of hyped. Okay, the draw of Soul-Scar is actually kind of awkward, because in some ways I really just want to see another card ASAP, in case it's Cleansing Wildfire. But now with Soul-Scar Mage, we're probably supposed to, for max damage, go Soul-Scar, and then next turn Swifty, Bauble, take it from there. So do we put a premium on racing or on disruption, is the question, without any information about the top of our deck or the opponent's hand. It is just a total judgment call. So I am going to play Soul-Scar Mage because we kind of kept the hand on the strength of its ability to race and to see cards in what's hopefully a timely enough fashion. Therefore, I think following the signal of our initial keep kind of lends us to this play, but obviously it could get punished, it could get rewarded too. OP went digging and found a power plant. A little scary. We draw land really bad. Really bad time to draw a brick. Alright, I'm going to bauble myself here to see whether or not I should shotgun a land. Lightning Bolt. Why don't we just play Sunbaked Canyon as a good compromise? Doesn't matter much. Like, it's basically, do they have Tron and a payoff or do they not, right? No Tron. And no play, it seems. Alright, now would be a great time for Cleansing Wildfire, and we rip it. Hype! Okay, what was the second land they played? Power Plant? Are they always in order? Yeah, I guess they are. Cleansing Wildfire. Feels good, man. Feels good. And then I think we're just going to let the bolt rip. Oh, or we'll draw Inquisition. I mean, Inquisition could whiff, but I'm still pretty happy to cast it just for the Prowess triggers and the chance that it doesn't. And we get a Walking Ballista. Wow. Things are really working out pretty well for us. Granted, I didn't even look at the rest of the hand. Wurmcoil Engine, Karn the Great Creator, all is dust. Okay, opponent goes down to 10. So they're going to get to cast Karn this turn. Oh, they found Sylvan Scrying. That's a pretty good draw. But means there's no Karn to distract us, I guess. So if we could just draw lethal, that'd be cool, but we don't. So not a bad time to put Lurrus in hand. If we cycle away Unearth, then what exactly is lethal? Would a Lava Dart be lethal? We'd put them to 5 and then swing for 6. So if we cycle Unearth and do exactly Lava Dart, that's lethal. We could also cycle into other threats that do reward us for this, or other ways to try to beat Karn the Great Creator. I don't think I'm going to put Lurrus in hand. I think I'm going to cycle. Into a mountain. Dang. Really? Alright, I'm going to run out Canyon and just hit for 2. We're going to crack Canyon on the opponent's end step. That one feels real bad, guys. Opponent just rips another Sylvan Scrying? Are you kidding me? Oh, we're getting Troned. We are getting Troned out of absolutely nowhere. We had like a really good chance of T4ing them, and we didn't. And they had nothing. They had 1 Tron land 2 turns ago. They just main phase all this does, sure. Unbelievable. But that's Tron for you. And we Sunbaked Canyon and do another Sunbaked Canyon? What is going on? Okay, Thoughtseize, okay. I guess we just go Thoughtseize, then put Lurrus into hand. Karn the Great Creator, Wurmcoil Engine, another Urza's Tower. So they're going to go Tower into Great Creator, then what can they tutor? I'm assuming nothing quite as bad as Wurmcoil, but maybe they have another Wurmcoil to tutor. If so, could they play it? They sure could. So if we're trying to grind through all of the value and we think they have another Wurmcoil to get, maybe we should just Thoughtseize away the Karn. But I'm going to hope they don't have one to tutor and take the otherwise really hard to beat card. Drawn way too much air against Tron in this game, too. It is the harder one, though. You know, we were on the draw. OP rips Ancient Stirrings for a turn. Wow. Another really scary hit. And a Karn Liberated, huh? Okay, wonder what they'll do here. They have enough to cast both. Trinisphere. They hold off on Liberated, playing Trinisphere. It makes some sense. I mean, just too many lands for us. So, yeah, we're just going to bolt the Great Creator, but the Trinisphere slowing us down while we're just, like, flooding and doing absolutely nothing is pretty unbeatable, I would say. We need to draw maybe, like, Angrath's Rampage to kill the Karn, Liberated. Have them sacrifice a Planeswalker. And then take it from there. We could then still play Lurrus, but couldn't afford to buy anything back. They were able to tutor Sanctum of Ugin. Yeah, just getting Tron to yet again. You know, I almost didn't bother picking up the Cleansing Wildfires, because I was just thinking, like, with Wildfire in the format, just, like, entering it today, I didn't expect to see that much big mana. Opponent taking one of our lands, how interesting. I mean, with Ulamog in hand, he can't really go wrong, but it does open them up to exactly this, which is we can bolt the Karn Liberated, and I guess we're supposed to. So why don't we bolt this guy, lose a couple lands to Ulamog, and then hope to draw, again, another, like, Angrath's Rampage, right? And then, of course, opponent will have to brick this entire time long enough for us to kill them through a Trinisphere. Hey, there's a forest, so they did brick once. Every time I'm, like, recording a video for you and I'm playing it out against Tron, it just makes me feel dumb. Like, I'm just a dumb person for playing out against Tron when they're online, because they're just always gonna keep ripping it. And I guess now we're pretty much dead. I guess technically we're not dead at this exact moment. They could brick again, and then we have one more turn to draw the Rampage. Oh, can't cast it. Nope, just 3 mana shy. I guess 4 mana shy. Feels bad, man. Feels so bad. Opponent's going to get a whole lot of information here. Down go both of our Rampages. Alright, I think we concede to that. I will, anyway. Maybe that was premature, but again, against Trinisphere, I don't think we have any outs. Whatever. It's very demoralizing to sit there while Tron casts 7, 8, 10 mana spells, and your 1 mana spells cost 3. So I just concede. I hope you understand. I hope you can understand why. Alright, I think we're favored on the draw. Let's get after it. No changes. Run her back. Run it on back. Run it on back against the Tron opponent. Yeah, I definitely would, like, take the Tron matches with this deck if they're offered up to me beforehand, but once again, this is my first league with it. Maybe I'm overestimating the matchup. Maybe I'm incorrect about that, or even if I'm not, you know, Tron can still just Tron you out. So let's hope that we really just take him to town here in Game 3. That's what we need. And it's a great keep. Swifty into Bauble, no tension between that and Soul-Scar. We've got Abrade on the play to hit a map. We're curving out after that with some good interaction. It is indeed a keep. Maybe we'll see a deep mulligan from the opponent. No, they keep 7. Why the Tron players gotta keep 7 against us? Come on, come on. That's not fair. That's not right. Okay, hit you for 2. Upkeep. Bauble you. Bone's got a Relic of Progenitus. Kind of annoying. We can Abrade it while they're tapped out, and if they don't present a map, I guess we probably are supposed to. They get our Bauble, though. Wow, 2 lands off the top for us. We can't have this happen again. We cannot flood again. That would just be a little too ridiculous for me. So let's not. That's going to be the last land we draw for a long time. And we most certainly will Abrade the Relic. Denies them a redraw, gives us an extra point of damage, allows our graveyard to refuel, because even though we haven't seen him this match, Kroxa is still indeed in the deck. Hope he shows a second Tron land and do a couple of chromatic pieces. Angrath's Rampage, huh? Okay, so do we cling, hoping to draw Cleansing Wildfire? That would give them credit for having Natty Tron and us really getting rewarded for disrupting it. Another, like, pretty good play, though, is to just hit the one that doesn't automatically draw a card. This one, Chromatic Sphere. Like, hitting the sphere, making them discard is okay. It is a little difficult to say. I mean, our odds of blindly clinging into Cleansing Wildfire are pretty low. We're probably supposed to do the responsible thing and K-Command. It also could make Angrath's Rampage better next turn. Like, because they're going to, if they don't have Natty Tron, they're going to begin the turn by cracking Star, then maybe present something we can Edict away. So, yeah. Target player discards a card, destroy target artifact. Shatter effects looking really good on the play. This is why, like, we hoped for a bit of a deep mulligan, though, you know, so that, like, the Kolaghan's Command and Kroxa style effects can really start adding up. We get all this dust out of the hand. You gotta count that as a win, under almost any circumstances. As predicted, they do kick off the turn with a star activation. Uh-oh. Sylvan Scrying. Yikes. There's the tower. Into an expedition map. Alright. Now we gotta draw Cleansing Wildfire or Thoughtseize. Instead we draw Blackcleave Cliffs. Deck, come on. Come on, deck. You can't do this to us. Alright. Well, gonna cling away a relic. Looking for that Wildfire, but they still just have another map. Well, we got the Wildfire. So we're probably, let's hit not tower, right? Because if we, I mean, giving them green could be dangerous too, but we clearly have to Wildfire, slow them down. So I think the land to hit will be Urza's Power Plant, because then they will have to tap. Then they'll only, well, no, because they're going to have a forest to work with. That makes more sense if we're pillaging. Whatever, I mean, still hitting Power Plant's fine. Yeah. It's a shame that we couldn't just naturally have that. Imagine if we were going Wildfire and then Edict away the map. But we're not. So let's begin with Wildfire, because it could draw us like a Thoughtseize or something. It's drawing us a Cling to Dust. I mean, I'm just going to, like, fetch and cast it for the Prowess value and to keep curving out. Oh man, but it's a couple of Blackcleave Cliffs off the top. Oof! Alright, we gotta hope that, like, we draw something hot off the top, or that Angrath's Rampage is enough to win us the game. OP just opening on a Stirrings. Interesting. I don't know their hand. Without knowing the hand, it looks a little high risk, high reward compared to just starting with Cracking Map, but maybe they don't have anything below, like, 7 that they feel like casting. I'm not sure. It's impossible to say. Or maybe they just have another power plant, right? Who knows? Oh, man, if we just had, like, some burn here in the back pocket, we'd actually be in a great spot, despite our stumbles, but 2 cliffs in hand. Okay, there's a piece of burn. It's Seal of Fire. It's not that exciting, but it's a play. So I guess we play it. We put them to a virtual 6. We put Lurrus into hand. We make another land drop and hope that that's going to be good enough. What's the alternative? Like main phase a Cling, and then we can't even cast Seal of Fire because we have cliffs entering tapped. Yep, we gotta kind of pivot to the grindy plan at a time when that's really bad to do so. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that we are a little too grindy to have quite as good of a matchup. I mean, I would think Thoughtseize goes a long way, and I think in some ways it does. But, you know, maybe we are better off on, like, Izzet against this deck. Feels like we've had our backs against the wall every single match. Or indeed, with mono red, maybe better off too, right? Opponent with a Sanctum of Ugin, which is just terrifying because that's, I mean, just one of many, many ways where it becomes futile to try to play the grindy game. So, like, let's say they can't gain a life and they also can't remove our board. We seal them down to 6, play Lurrus, seal them down to 4, attack them to 2 with Swifty. It's probably not good enough. We need to, like, just draw a burn spell and have our stuff not die. There's Karn Liberated. It's not surprising. And there's Wormcoil off of the Sanctum. It's just so rough. They exile Swifty. Yep. Alright, what can we draw? Maybe another Cleansing Wildfire? No. We draw another land, Sunbaked Canyon. Ooh, no, no, no. Okay, so I guess we have to keep trying to somehow grind them out. So I guess it's just Seal of Fire the Karn, play Lurrus, buy back Seal. What's the alternative? Like, we could Rampage away Karn, but then we're not casting anything with Lurrus. Well, no, we could still loop Seal with Sunbaked Canyon. That's kind of interesting, but I feel we need the Rampage to win through other things. Like, Karn is at a low loyalty count, so let's just get rid of him this way, I guess. Alright. OP with the Forest, so they've got 9 mana at their disposal. Looks like they're playing a non-Wormcoil Engine card. Ugin the Ineffable. Alright, alright. Is that better than Wormcoil there? I truly don't know. Like, taking down to destroy Lurrus, sure. think that's kind of a risky play from the opponent if we have Unearth, but not if they have another payoff in hand. Okay, I was kind of assuming they didn't have absolutely everything, but this is actually really good for them, because then they get to cast a 2-mana Great Creator? Yeah. Gross. I just, hate playing it out against Tron, but we're supposed to, and then a 1-mana Trinisphere. Wow. I mean, you gotta step back and say that is pretty impressive, right? Okay, we've drawn Kroxa. We've drawn Swifty. It's just all too little too late, almost certainly. Blackcleave Cliffs not allowing us to double spell through Trinisphere unless we lead off on Angrath's Rampage, which is actually not bad, because we could Rampage away the Trinisphere. We could then Kroxa, get something of relevance out of their hand, or even just if it's just a land, maybe it's a utility land and it also puts them to 5. And then we get to play Swifty and attack Ugin off the field. We still have Karn the Great Creator to deal with, but that actually seems pretty good. So, oh no, we can't do both because of Blackcleave Cliffs entering tapped. Oh, tilts. Man, I hate Trinisphere. Okay. Sure. I really don't even think Trinisphere is that great against our particular build. It's just the way it's lining up. It really has been. It really has been. I think we've got to get this Ugin off the field, so we'll have to wait on Kroxa for a turn. Feels bad. Remember, at the end of all this, there's still a Worm Coil Engine to beat. We know that's in hand. But Ugin, killing Ugin stops them from making the value-generating blockers, which just bury us, and also stops them from triple spelling, hopefully. OP goes Worm Coil Engine, then they're going to take down with Great Creator. Then they get Relic. Pretty annoying. I don't know what we can have here that, does it all. We'll exile Bloodstained Mire to your Relic, and then Soul-Scar Mage, man. Okay, well, it's Kroxa time. Let's see what they do in response to this. Probably crack the Relic. Okay. So, we're going to have Kroxa to buy back. So do we then, take some value here with Cling to Dust? It rewards us for drawing a land, because then we can still play Soul-Scar Mage. If not, it's just a good value generation. I think we're probably supposed to. It all feels pretty futile, as I've said a couple times now, but we have, by necessity, pivoted to a grindy plan, and therefore will be executing that to the best of our ability against a deck that usually can't get outground under these circumstances. We've drawn Angrath's Rampage, so we are continuing to hit, action. It's just their cards are all unbeatable, right? That's the point of Tron. Each individual card, crushes entire archetypes just if it resolves. And our Tron opponents this league have literally never once stopped gassing out, and it continues here with Ugin into a free Chromatic Star, killing our Swifty, Here's a Wormcoil Engine. Will they forget to tick Great Creator up? Probably not. Now they're going to tick it up and animate Chromatic Star. Interesting. A swamp off the top. Come on. Come on. The animating of Star was a heads-up play. Means we can't Edict away the Wormcoil and we're basically dead. So let's have them sacrifice a Planeswalker, I guess, but obviously the draw of a swamp here is just completely pathetic. Yeah, flooding and going a little too slow against Tron with them having some nutty stuff. Not a good combination. And it's rough, because I'd rather go down to the wire. Like, both Tron matches have gone to 3 games, and the opponent or myself has been on the ropes in, like, every single one of them. That's not fun against Tron, it's just stressful. I'd rather go to the mat with matches where there's more parity in terms of, like, top decks and payoffs and stuff. With Tron, I don't mind playing against it broadly because it's usually decided quickly, but today's games have not gone like that, and they just draw another Great Creator. Whatever. Let's see what they get. I guess we'll take our draw step, but Walking Ballista, no we won't. We won't get a draw step. Unbelievable. Alright, with a little bit of different luck, we could be 3-0. I think Tron's eminently beatable with all Prowess variants, including this one. I hope I haven't done anything that has cost us any matches, but I know that even if I have, I think with a lot of our progressions, we're just going to get there against Tron, but not finding the right stuff off the top, not really able to cripple the Tron players either. Like, our Thoughtseizes and Cleansing Wildfires have been good, but they've just drawn the things to replace what we took away. So, what are you going to do? Well, the die rolls have been kind to us, at least. We win the 4th one running. We were in an Avatar mirror match. And we were in an actual mirror match, too. They declare Lurrus. Okay, do we keep the one-lander with the one land being just mountain? Oh my god, imagine if this was a Blackcleave Cliffs, we would have 6 1-mana spells. Oh boy, oh boy. This is a really good hand in the mirror, though. I think we're, like, having a high density of threats is good. Perhaps more important is having a high density of answers. I think we're supposed to keep it. Mulling in the mirror is really bad, I assume. It's very attrition-based, and the opponent indeed mulls. Now, if we get stuck on this mountain forever, they're still going to beat us. But if we draw the land in a pretty timely fashion, we're probably looking pretty favored here. So let's hope we see the Blackcleave Cliffs for our first draw step. But in the meantime, Soul-Scar Mage pass to you. Opponent gonna either push it or... or discard us, but instead they just pass, huh? And we draw Abbot of Keral Keep. They're gonna take 1. Yep. Play another Soul-Scar. Wow, they didn't do anything? Really? I guess that was just a bluff. Maybe to get us to sequence a little differently. OP is going to Bauble themselves for a little bit of scry before they fetch away the top deck. Waste Not. Alright, not a mirror. It's red rack, and we draw the second land. Beautiful. Okay. Nice. Nice, nice. Whenever opponent discards a card... Okay, Waste Not could be a pretty big problem for us. Thankfully, we did draw this land, so let's fetch and shock. I feel obligated to Thoughtseize here to take away whatever their biggest payoff for Waste Not is. And we're also going to have a big swing this turn, obviously. Feels pretty good. Okay, they have Kroxa and Inquisition. Whenever opponent discards... So let's assume we're taking Inquisition, leaving them with Kroxa. If we pitch our Abbot, we'll give them a zombie. We don't have a land to pitch. Alright. So, why don't we take away the Inquisition, play Seal of Fire, which can beat their zombie, and also lets us smash in here. And I think I'm pitching Abbot of Keral Keep because I don't want them to draw a card. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe we're supposed to flood the board and assume it's going to be good enough to win through zombies. I don't know. Wonder if they would consider putting Lurrus in hand this turn. No, it's got to be Kroxa. Yeah, this is a bit of a tough call. If we ditch the Abbot, seal the zombie, bolt them to 9, cling them, they're gonna go to 3? I'm not certain. You know what? Maybe it is better to give them a fresh card and hope to get lucky. Yeah, I'm going to ditch Cling to Dust, and I'm not, let the record state, I'm not certain whether that's correct. And I know this gives us not an out to Kroxa. Oh my god, we're max punished because they drew another 1-mana spell anyway. Dang, brutal. But I was just going to say, we kind of have to assume that they're not going to draw another 1-mana spell and therefore not escape Kroxa, hopefully, before we can kill them. And even if we're competing over Kroxa that way, it's value negative for us. We draw Kroxa of our own. We play that, or do we play Abbot? I think we got to play Abbot here. I can't believe they drew Inquisition. That's so good for them. Mishra's Bauble. Hey, that's good for us. One of the only thing we could actually cast. You know, finding a land would have been fine there. Alright, so we are nice and wide. I'm not sure whether our sequencing has been correct, but there is a lot of merit to just, like, going wide. OP about to draw, show us a land. Oh, Fatal Push. That's really good for them. Oh, that's too good for them. Bloodstained Mire. So, there's one unknown in their hand. Will they go for the bold move of escaping Kroxa here? Looks like it. It is a bold move with Fatal Push in hand, because they're just dead to a lot of stuff, but like making a zombie here, they're pretty rewarded, right? About to see 2 draws, though. Double Swifty. Jeez. All right. What do we do? I guess we seal away the zombie and swing out. We're going to put them to 3 when Kroxa's going to kill the Abbot. Sure. What a strange game, my friends. Okay, OP is dead to so much. But they're not dead on board, because they do have at least Fatal Push to protect, even if they don't have anything else. But they're just dead to the top deck to, you know, bolts, lava darts, stuff like that. And they're flooding. They're showing us lands we didn't know about. There's still the 2 Blood Crypt in hand, unless I have mistracked something along the line. They're going to put Lurrus in hand, so lifelink is imminent. Let's just draw lethal. Let's just draw lethal. Unearth. Yeah, I guess we unearth Kroxa. potentially forcing them to pitch Lurrus here to stay alive, depending on what they've got going on. Obviously, they can't pitch a land because they'll die. I don't think they can pitch Fatal Push because they'll die to our attacks. Yeah, we got them to pitch Lurrus. Okay. So if we swing all out, they're going to block 1, push 1, go to 1. I guess we have to do it. Good job, Kroxa. Now they don't have inevitability, really. Like, Kroxa has inevitability if you can afford to attack with him. And yeah, we are assuming they have another form of removal. Obviously they do. They drew double push. I think they would have scooped if they to the trigger if they didn't, right? I don't know. I don't think I said that. So opponent been drawn pretty well to stay alive there. And a heads up play to play an untapped land last turn. All right. Abbot of Keral Keep, huh? Well, let's play him. Mishra's Bauble? Sure. Seems fine. We're just continuing to go wide and to dig through the deck. OP about to draw a Bauble of their own. Okay. There's one unknown, one card in the opponent's hand and it is unknown, but there's going to be 2 when we go to our turn, so attacking's a little risky. Let's just, again, draw lethal. We can do it. Abbot of Keral Keep and a Blackcleave Cliffs. Okay, maybe we can't do it, but I'm going to play Abbot looking for it. If we don't find it, going wide is still fine. They're responding? Interesting. Okay. Lightning Bolt. Got there. Got there, though it was pretty sketchy. Unless they've got main deck life gain. Besides, you know, at instant speed. Maybe they have Cling to Dust? They do. Okay, fair. Alright, well, we're going to make them have another removal spell, and we're still going to attack. Alright. Okay, so if they had... Interesting. So here's what they were going for. They were looking for another piece of any kind of 1-mana action. Possibly to stay alive, like with another Fatal Push, or maybe if they play Lightning Bolt. But anything that's 1 mana that they could put in the graveyard, they could then gain another 3 with Cling to Dust. So opponent did have outs, but the first Cling was not quite sufficient. So it's nice to win game 1 there. This seems like actually the worst matchup we've faced so far, but since we've lost some winnable matchups, maybe we'll just face roll the tough matchup, right? So against Red Rock, we don't have an out to Waste Not. That's annoying. And the only thing I think we're probably really going to do is Nihil Spellbomb, at least until we see other things like, I don't know. I think I'm going to sideboard mainly against what we saw. And with that in mind, like, having a couple outs to Kroxa is okay, but we should probably try to stop Kroxa from escaping rather than, like, push the resolved Kroxa. So I guess for that reason, push is, a little bit in question. Most of our cards do look really good here, even though I don't know how good the matchup is. I like Seal of Fire a lot, you know, dumping out the hand around the discard effects. Use it when you need it. I think we're supposed to leave in all 4 of these discard spells. So, yeah, at the risk of being soft to resolve Kroxa, I think if they're escaping Kroxa, we're probably either losing or just erasing anyway. So sure, cutting the Fatal Pushes for now. And then just one more cut. I could see trimming... maybe just like Lava Dart, but like Lava Dart's an okay card to discard. Alright, even though I like Seal of Fire, I'm just going to cut one. It's kind of a weak card, I guess. One way to look at it. Overall, card quality of Seal of Fire is low, even though it's very synergistic with the deck. I guess, you know, I'm thinking the matchup might not be the greatest, but I'm sure opponent doesn't want to see an opposing companion with their discard deck, right? OP will mull. We're going to keep. We need a little help. We need to draw, like, a land. Like, the double Lava Dart in the opener is pretty bad. But mulling in the matchup's probably worse. Opponent with a Burning Inquiry. Getting rid of 2 of our baubles. Oh my god, I wasn't ready for that. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. Sure enough. Sure enough. Well, our hand is now all 1-mana spells, so there's something to be said for that. And we did get to keep our threat. Big problem is an early Kroxa is, like a turn 4 Kroxa is virtually guaranteed, unless we do manage to find a Spellbomb. Opponent's digging us through the deck, and they kept a 1-lander. And Burning Inquiry's card disadvantage. So this is working out pretty well for us. We've also been gifted a second Swifty, so I will take it. I will take it. So let's just go Swifty. Seal of Fire. Smash in for 4. See if the opponent can manage to put something together this turn. A third Burning Inquiry. How are these Lava Darts still in our hand? Okay, finally they go down after the third one. And then OP has a Spellbomb, sure. Alright. This is all too funny. This is all too funny. Okay, so why don't we begin with a Kroxa? I mean, I realize we're going to lose it to Spellbomb, and they want to crack Spellbomb desperately anyway to rebuild. But Kroxa still seems like a pretty decent spot for a Kroxa. We're not going to get it through the Spellbomb anyway. They only have 2 cards left in hand, so, like, if we get a land out of there, we put them to 12. They're at 10 with Seal of Fire, 7 with Bolt, 5 with Darts. And we would have lethal. So if they pitch a land, this is a lethal play. I think that in and of itself makes it worth doing. And this is going to force them to, like, crack the Spellbomb even more aggressively than they otherwise would. Okay, we get Inquisition out of there. That's a lot less exciting. So this begs the question as to how deep we want to shove here. I think I'm going to go half in. I think we're going to kind of arbitrarily decide that, like, using 1 Lava Dart, losing 1 land here is like the right balance. Okay, they're going to do it now. Okay, so opponent pretty much playing off the top. Do we want to go that low on lands? I don't know, with Lurrus coming, with double Sunbaked Canyon, I think I'm supposed to not sack another land. I think this is fine. I'm going to turn off auto yields. I'm pretty sure I played a land this turn, but let's just double check before we pass priority. Oh, did we just miss lethal? I didn't even... I should have double counted. I guess we did if they're at 5. Because another Lava Dart puts them to 4, and another Trigger puts them to 2, and then they're dead to Seal of Fire. So that's my bad. I'll say oops in the chat. I think we did miss lethal. Dreadhorde Arcanist, by the way, in the opponent's grave. Definitely something to note for the future if you run into this deck, but we're not punished. Opponent's Burning Inquiries lost them that game. That's the downfall of the card. That was my big beef with the old Hollow One deck. I thought Hollow One was a fascinating deck and really fun to play against on Rock. But I always hated losing, like automatically losing to the RNG of Burning Inquiry. That's the only thing about the deck that I was like, okay, this is rough. The Faithless Looting stuff, didn't really mind it so much. However, as you can see, Burning Inquiry's RNG can help its opponent just as much as it can help the person casting it. The way Burning Inquiry drew us through our deck was pretty good. And the way it put them at card disadvantage while failing to find them a second land, definitely just kind of let them roll over and die for us. So, my bad, sorry, apologies for missing lethal there, but we did get there anyway, and we are 2-2, and again, you've got to figure that the Tron matchups are so winnable, so again, you can see how strong the deck is. Let's try to go cash this league. Well, we finally lost a die roll here in the final round. Hope you guys are having fun. I know my play is not expert. Again, it's my first time with the deck. I hope it is sufficient for you to be enjoying this and to be having fun. I feel I'm playing a little bit more slowly than average, and we'll keep this hand. And part of that is definitely my first time out with the deck. I just don't have anything that's second nature, really. But part of it is also maybe playing a little bit later at night than I'm used to playing. I'm just that little bit more tired. Looks like we're against Ad Nauseam for the final round, which again should be a pretty good matchup, so we really can't complain much about our matchups, if at all. We've drawn another discard spell. How interesting. So my first instinct here was to go, okay, well, let's get our Swifty down, let's start racing. I'm actually not certain that's true, and it's specifically because we cannot double discard spell next turn unless we draw a black land. So what if we Inquisition now, and then next turn we go Swifty, Thoughtseize, and we're just, like, stopping them from casting a Pentad Prism that way too? Which could be really important, because they don't have Lotus Bloom that they opened on. And either way, we know Inquisition's obviously going to be great. So we're going to put off the clock just a little bit, and we'll see how it pans out for us. They have Double Thassa's Oracle, Pact of Negation, Ad Nauseam, Serum, Visions. Interesting. So, kind of want to take the Serum Visions here. Think that is going to be the play. Like, the Thassa's Oracles are kind of annoying as blockers, right? But, whatever. Just rip the hand to shreds, and we'll probably only want to play one out as a blocker in a Scryer. And they, as I was about to say, if they don't draw another land, they'll have to start using the Gemstone Mine, and when they don't have Mana Rocks, they're only operating off 2 lands. It's not good for them. Not at all. So, pretty cool stuff. Okay, another Swifty is actually kind of a bad draw without a third land to really capitalize. Like, playing Kroxa is okay here. That's the interesting thing about our position. Again, I wish this mountain was a black source. It would open up more nice turn 3 lines. I think I'm actually casting Kroxa. I want every turn to be maximally mana efficient, and their hand's pretty bad. Like, we get punished if they, like, if they drew, like, Phyrexian Unlife and then they draw a land for a turn next turn, but overall the hand's kind of bad. And that's not happening, not yet anyway. They have Temple of Deceit. them finding a third land's pretty good. Why don't we draw a black land? That's what we really want. Oh, they attack with Oracle? Okay. Now our turn's going to be good, no matter what it is. In the draw of another Thoughtseize, sure. Good enough. Getting stuck on 2 lands is a little rough, but this is still fine. Phyrexian Unlife will be the take. Well, we kind of smelled it, didn't we? But thankfully, the land that I presume they topped was a tap land. So their hand is Thassa's Oracle ad nauseam. We have another Thoughtseize in hand. They draw a 4th land, City of Brass. Okay, still want to see a black land here so we can, like, go Swifty, Thoughtseize the ad nauseam, and then cling to make our attackers huge. Fetch land would be ideal. So we're fueling Kroxa along the way. Opponent's tanking over whether or not to deploy Thassa's Oracle as a blocker. You understand that incentive because, okay, we draw Lightning Bolt. Interesting. Now, let's just go Swifty, Thoughtseize attack with a pair of 2/3s into their 1/3. We'll get 2 damage through. I'm just trying to think of any possible way that could really punish us. I think our position's really strong. I don't think we get punished for this play at all. I think clearly Thoughtseizing ad nauseam before they're at risk of hard casting it is the thing to do. Thassa's Oracle on blocking duty. Well, Lightning Bolt will take care of that next turn. It's kind of funny to think about, but Thassa's Oracle proved to be a pretty good upgrade for the deck, because adding the... Okay, they found Lotus Bloom. Yeah, opponent just, like, committing to dumping out the board, stalling until they can, like, probably find... They probably want to top deck Unlife, Stay Alive, and then top deck Ad Nauseam after that, right? And the 5th land. And they're racing us with the Oracle. You admire it. You love to see it. But, yeah. Anyway, let's begin by clinging. That Unlife to send a message doesn't matter what we cling. They don't use the graveyard unless they're on some strange variant. And if they are, well, that's the card to take anyway, most likely. Unearth. Not very good right now. I think we are just bolting the Oracle and racing here. Our progression, like, we've found a lot of good cards, but our progression has been really clunky due to a lack of a second black land, specifically, and also the lack of a third land in general. Opponent has top decked his Serum Visions. At this point, the draw of a 4th land would be pretty great to let us escape Kroxa. What was their blind draw off of Serum Visions? It was yet another Oracle. And they went bot with the Serum. Got it. Sunbaked Canyon, I should have been more specific. We need it to be a black land. That is rough. That is so rough. Alrighty. Well, Kroxa, like, we can unearth Kroxa. Makes him a Lava Spike, lets us attack. Lets us kill some Oracles while blocking. Oh no, because again, the lack of a second black is really killing us. Alright, let's crack Sunbaked Canyon, I guess, is the new line. Bloodstained Mire. That lets us do everything we're trying to do. Also lets us escape Kroxa next turn. See if they're going to look for some blocks here. You've got to imagine, because they're just dead to Lightning Bolt if they don't. Okay, double block. Kill them both. Draw a card. Cling to Dust just so good, even in a matchup where it doesn't have much text besides 1 mana cantrip. Still so good. Alright, let's see what the opponent topped with that third Thassa's Oracle. They topped Sleight of Hand. Okay, makes sense. Into... oh, it's an Unlife. Brutal. Brutal. That is scary. So, our mission now is to put them down to... We have to put them to 0 this turn so that we can kill them next turn, or we can kill them in fewer turns overall. So... unfortunately, that's going to preclude us from escaping Kroxa unless we open on a Cling. No, that's still going to preclude us from escaping Kroxa. Let's open on a Cling. Just see a ton of cards and maybe kill them next turn with or without Kroxa, right? Lava Dart, huh? That could definitely kill them next turn, so... why don't we Lava Spike them with Kroxa and then pass? See exactly what they draw. Before we decide whether or not to crack the canyon. Okay, so we're dead to Ad Nauseam, but obviously after all this attrition, if they just like blindly top deck it, that would be the worst. Sleight of Hand, a little scary. 2 looks at an Ad Nauseam. Okay, so, like, let's see. With Lava Dart, we are swinging just as things stand for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, like, cracking Sunbaked Canyon gives us the chance to just draw more burn. But also, if we don't crack Sunbaked Canyon, we just draw land. Maybe, like, a flashback Cling to Dust or Escape Kroxa is lethal, so this is a big judgment call. I'm gonna crack Canyon. It's, like, probably higher percentage, but hard to say. Okay, there's a land and a Fatal Push, so we're kind of punished for this. So opponent's not dead. So we might as well escape Kroxa, get that last card out of their hand. And then they get one more turn to find something. Spoils of the Vault. Interesting. Interesting. So I guess they didn't have enough mana to Spoils for Ad Nauseam, then cast it. So they have one draw step. That's the concession. Cool. All right. Well, that was ugly too. That was a struggle session, but we did get there. Hope I played that one well. I think we identified a lot of their outs pretty well. Near the end there, I'm not sure if I could have taken more time to figure out like things like what to do on the turn we were getting them 2 or below 0, the odds of cracking Sunbaked Canyon, whatever. Not going to make you guys sit through that one, and it's nice to win game 1 there. Their Leylines of Sanctity are really good against us, hosing our burn and our discard spells, so time to watch out for that. Cleansing Wildfire is not the worst. It could break up their lands fairly well. I think it is probably a worse card overall than Rampage, Abrade, and Brutality, but it's not... It is something that we could play. Fatal Push, the worst card in our deck. Unearth, relatively low impact. I think we're supposed to make them have the... What's it called? The ley lines, right? Kling's trimmable. Seal of Fire is trimmable. This is all looking pretty familiar, right? Do we want to play some Cleansing Wildfires? I'm not certain. It does give us, like, another angle of attack. Maybe we do. I think we do. Because it's something that, like, could really screw them if they have a shut off by Leyline, and in the role of, like, card that does something while cantripping, getting prowess triggers, etc. It's not blown out by Veil of Summer. It's not shut off by Leyline of Sanctity. So, like, maybe it competes well with like, Cling to Dust. I know Cling is cheaper and has the X for 1 potential, but this also has potential to become, like, a 2-mana cantripping Stone Rain. So... let's do that, and I don't know, I guess we'll just cut another Seal of Fire. So we're kind of, like, hedging away from Leyline, not because, like, we're strictly supposed to, but because, like, we do have other angles of attack that don't get shut off by it, and those angles are really interesting. I don't know if we can keep this. Opponent's going to mulligan. Like, it doesn't have an early threat, and it only has basic mountain. We've probably got to try to do better with 6. This is better. This does a lot. We're going to keep it, and probably bottom 1 Abbot. Try to ride 1 threat to victory. Hope they don't have the Leyline, but they sure do. Oh, rough. Our hand's so soft to Leyline. So incredibly soft to Leyline. And it's a 3rd land off the top, so it's just going to be time to play threats. Play some slow threats. Hope their mulligan, in combination with having Leylines in their deck to kind of slow them down, is not good enough. We've drawn Cleansing Wildfire. That could be good if they start showing us basic lands, but I'm just going to run out the Abbot just to get a threat down. Hopefully put a bad card to the bottom. Yeah, putting a Blood Crypt into exile. Putting Blood Crypt into exile is okay. We don't really need a 4th land right now. I was hoping to put, like, Thoughtseize into exile because it is fairly dead. We can at some point maybe Thoughtseize away our own Inquisition or vice versa to get Prowess triggers. Obviously a pretty desperate play, but against Leyline, often it is desperate times, desperate measures, and hey, they show us a plains. Maybe they're only on 2 plains, and maybe Cleansing Wildfire will wreck them. We will have to see. Let's begin by firing 1 off. It'd be really cool at this spot to just keep drawing the card Cleansing Wildfire. That would be amazing. Especially because we now have an Abrade, or maybe we have had an Abrade for a while to shut off, or to beat, like, Pentad Prism. Basic Swamp, not what I expected to see. Alright, we're going to Lava Dart. It's actually technically better practice to Lava Dart the Abbot than ourselves. But we just gotta Lava Dart something to get the damage through, but I'm not shoving all in yet. No flashback. Alright. Swifty. Sure. I think we probably just play Swifty, attack, put Lurrus into hand. It's all pretty slow, but in the face of Leyline, what are you going to do? Some of the new promo basics. Or no, they're not. Never mind. I just didn't recognize them at first glance. That's Throne of Eldraine. Yeah, okay. Opponent with City of Brass. So they're making all their land drops. Kind of feels like they have Angel's Grace Ad Nauseam combo rolled up in hand, and they're about to make the 6th land drop, which would be a really weird way to lose. But that might indeed end up being the case. So can we put together lethal if we go all in? So Inquisition away our own Abrade. Lightning bolts ourselves. That is going to be 2 prowess triggers, flashback, lava dart is 3 for each one. So we're doing 5 plus 4 is 9. It is not lethal, so there's not really much point in shoving all in here. I guess keeping a Abrade around makes some sense. I guess we're just attacking. Not really doing much else. Feels bad. If only we could buy back this Cleansing Wildfire. Give the opponent the 3rd basic land check. Alright, so maybe we're dead. That's what their hand seems like it is. Yep, Angel's Grace into Ad Nauseam. Sure enough. We'll have them do it because it is really valuable sideboard information. It is also just really quick to execute. So we'll see if they're playing Veil of Summer, for instance. Echoing Truth, that's not a card that you could guarantee, for example, they'd be playing, so that's good to know about to play around. So far, we're not seeing Veil. So yeah, we just mulled to a medium 6, they mulled to a Leyline 6. Leyline protects the combo even when it's a slow turn 6 combo, right? Okay, so no Veil of Summer confirmed. We need a basic island count too. We see, or a basic land count. We see island, and that's it. So 3 total basic lands of different colors, of the 3 primary colors, and I'm not seeing anything else. Pentad Prism 1, 2. Only 2? Did we side out of those? 1, 2, Lotus Bloom. It's possible they trim on artifacts for fear that they'll be destroyed. Okay. I don't want to make opponent click through every single facet of this. I don't want to pretend I have lands in hand to discard a Lightning Storm either, so that's enough sideboard info. Let's get the win here. Let's cash the league. Do we want to do anything different on the play? and or having seen, like, Echoing Truth and No Veils. That's the info we got. The only really playable cards on the bench are just, like, 1 mana do somethings, like Seal, Unearth, Cling to Dust, that are more a prowess trigger than anything else, but their other modes can be live. Angrath's Rampage might be a little more questionable, just because they are seeming to move away a little bit from artifacts, and you can't hit Lotus Bloom on their upkeep with that sorcery, unlike Abrade and Kolaghan's Command, which can hit it on their upkeep. So maybe Rampage is one of the weaker cards in our current 60. Everything else looks totally fine. So we could hedge away from a Rampage, maybe leaving 1 in is fine. And play... They didn't show us any Grave Hate, so I'm just going to play Cling to Dust in the hopes of, like, churning through the deck as fast as possible. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's do it. This hand's a definite keep. It has no early threat, but it disrupts well. It's just a keep. OP keeping a double Leyline 7. Well, I guess that is better than a single Leyline 7, but man, is that rough. Man, oh man, is that just so stinking rough. But our hand's, like, able to beat it simply because Cleansing Wildfire could disrupt it, and Kroxa's really good against Leylines. I'm gonna Bauble myself here. Blackcleave Cliffs coming off the top, okay. I think we're going to hold out looking for Prowess triggers to fire off, like, Bolt and Seal of Fire, potentially. Okay, Abbot of Keral keep, huh? Let's just play Kroxa here, I believe. Actually. Let's think about this. So, playing Abbot is best for our clock. Playing Kroxa is, like, the freest, because we're not giving up any potential value off of Abbot or Wildfire. Like, the idea about waiting on Wildfire would be they're more likely to naturally draw basic lands and not be able to tutor them. Yeah, why don't we play Abbot? We just, like, need a Prowess threat down. Bauble off the top? Okay, Mountain. We lose a Mountain off the top. That's good for us. So we get lucky. Again, we were hoping to, like, get a Thoughtseize out of there or something that's totally dead, but thankfully we didn't lose a good card. We just lost a Mountain. That's acceptable. Ooh, Duress. I don't think we saw that. Maybe they have it in on the draw. Maybe I didn't look carefully enough. So they probably take Wildfire here. Well, this ought to be an interesting finale, my friends. Really just hope they don't have turn 3 Unlife. That's going to make this a hugely uphill battle. Yeah, indeed they do take Wildfire. We draw another one. Yo, let's go. We're casting it. We are casting Wildfire, and they have all 3 colors, so it doesn't probably matter much what we hit. My instinct is to attack the white, but maybe it's better to hit this to prevent hard casting of Ad Nauseam as easily. Sure. Man, if only they hadn't duressed the first one, we would be, like, starting to Wildfire them out of the game. Well, Cleansing Wildfire has been looking really good. Really, really good. And get to smack in for 4. So the ley lines, as always, cramping our style. You know, I do think forcing them to get basic swamp, that's probably the worst basic land. So I think hitting that Dark Slick Shores was correct. But who knows? They got the Unlife. That sucks. That just sucks. We draw another Abbot. That could be okay. Abbot, like, into a land for Kroxa would be fine. We did it. Okay, we got, again, we do have a long ways to go, but we are attacking their resources respectably enough. We have to remember that we can sacrifice Seal of Fire at this point. Doing it just to feel Kroxa is why it's interesting. And if we can get Kroxa escaped next turn, our position's actually still pretty good. We might need to draw like a fetch land to do that or something, or maybe Mishra's Bauble. Yeah, Bauble would do it. Actually, in any untapped land will do it, so we can Lightning Bolt ourselves and Seal of Fire ourselves. Come on. Oh, it's Blackcleave Cliffs. Dude, this land is killing us. Killing us this league. Preventing us from double spelling in the later turns. Not that it's bad, not that you shouldn't run it, but my goodness. How bad can these land draws get? That's rough to not be able to escape Kroxa or to do anything else good. Whatever, I'm just going to do this stuff main phase. Does not matter. Unless they sided in, like, removal on the draw as well that we didn't see in Game 2. Alright, so now we're just dead to ad nauseam. Which I guess if we had escaped Kroxa last turn, we could have gotten either the 5th land or the ad naus out of their hand if that's what they'd been sitting on. Now if they have the combo, we're just dead. If they don't have the combo, which they don't, then things are interesting. We've drawn Swifty. Okay, so let's begin by escaping Kroxa, so that they pitch without knowing that they're going to go to exactly 0 this turn. The draw of Swifty, kind of good. Lightning Bolt would accomplish a similar thing, but still pretty good. We lose out on a lot of good Lurrus targets that way. So is it really correct to play Swifty, or should we just bolt ourselves? Maybe we should bolt ourselves to leave the Bauble in there. I could buy that. Alright, yeah. Attacking first might be technically correct anyway. Even though I can't imagine them slow-rolling a land just in case they are. Like, then when they pitch it to Kroxa, again, I can't imagine that happening, but if they do, it would be better for our clock. Now we have the Lurrus Bauble loop coming down the pipeline as well. And Lurrus Bauble, I mean, no, they're just dead on board anyway next turn if they don't have the combo or a way to stay alive, because we have natural 10 power on the field now. We get Angel's Grace out of the hand. I guess that doesn't really change much. Maybe our sequencing helped play around them firing that off this turn, but maybe they also have cards to protect. I don't know. It's impossible to say. End step spoils. Scary. Scary Unstepped Spoils, and they add an Ad Nauseam, like, right near the top. Have they been hiding a land, or do they need to draw one for turn? They're going to Serum Visions? They've exiled a Leyline and a Simian Spirit Guide to that Spoils. They go bot with the Serum. They play Pentad Prism. So their hand is Ad Nauseam, one unknown. And they are dead on board, unless I'm mistaken. Is that the concession? It is. Wow, guys. We went 3-2 while losing twice to Tron. Can you believe that? This feels like the 5-0 that got away. And again, I hope, like, I know my play was not expert here. If nothing else, I probably didn't make decisions as quickly as somebody who's actually played this deck before would. But I hope I didn't, like, punt away either of the Tron matchups. That would be kind of rough. It was rough enough just to lose to them with variance, right? Like, if you look at our deck, it looks like it should be really hard for it not to beat Tron. With the Quick Clock, with how good Thoughtseize and Kroxa and, like, those cards are. You know, Kolaghan's Command's okay. Angrath's Rampage is okay. But also with the fact that Cleansing Wildfire is now in the format, and we drew the Wildfires. It's not like they were in our deck and we just failed to find them and then got Troned. Like, well, we had, like, okay progressions, and we had the Wildfires. It still wasn't enough. Now, remember when I talked about this card, I said that maybe Pillage can still play a role. We were talking about the BGX perspective, but broadly it is true that it's not as much of a setback for Tron to get their land downgraded as it is to lose it to Pillage. But again, this breaks up Tron on the draw. This cantrips, it's low curve, it's just wicked good. And the Tron players were not, like, against us, beating us because we didn't pillage them and they were, like, casting 4, 5, 6 drops on curve. They were just, like, finding Tron anyway, right? So that was definitely pretty rough, pretty unlucky. But overall, the deck seems so good. When I played this in the lobby the other day, I was like, this is very premature to state, but this almost feels like the strongest deck I've ever played. And to put that in perspective, I only started playing Modern in 2017, and I never played the Hogak deck when it was legal. And I only played Oko exactly once, and it was in an off-meta, like, 4-color Wet Jund deck. And I've only played Uro exactly once, and it was an off-meta Urulgari deck. So take that with a bit of a grain of salt. I've never played the decks that were so strong that they got banned. But, or maybe will get banned in the case of Uro. But, nevertheless, I think the fact that this struck me as, like, dang, this is, like, one of the strongest decks I've ever played. I don't even think we had very good progressions here, to be honest. Like, the really oppressive progressions that this deck's capable of, the really gassing out top decks and grindy matchups, the just ruthless depletion plus clock in the linear matchups, we didn't even really see that here. And we pretty easily 3-2'd, again, losing to what I think is a good matchup in Tron. But you guys let me know how the Tron matchup has gone for you on the deck. I hope you enjoyed this one, Nick. I hope you enjoyed this one, my friend Mully of the Veil. Awesome supporter. Love to see it. Thank you so much for finally giving me license to play this deck that's been on my radar since it came out. As soon as I saw this one drop, I was like, okay, this deck is for me. It's not as much of a departure from mid-range, so it's not as much of, like, a palate cleanser if I'm a little burned out on the grind. But leaving that aside, it's like one of my favorite archetypes combined with another one of my favorite archetypes. How can you go wrong? But I've, like, only doing the donation leagues, basically. Haven't had time to play it until, for Mully's donation league, I was given the go-ahead. So thank you, my friend. If I was a grinder, if I had the time to grind, and if I was, like, spending time just, like, loading into games rather than making content for you, I would be grinding with this deck right now. If my goal is to get 5-0s into farm tickets, I think until further notice this would be my go-to grinding deck of choice, and I kind of thought that just looking at it. And having played with it a little bit, even though this is only a 3-2, I think I can stand by that. So anyway, thank you once again to Nick Hernandez, and thank you for watching to everybody out there. Thank you to all Patreon supporters besides Nick, including our newest one, an Inquisitor named, where is it? Where's my notification? Oh god, I've lost the notification. There it is, Ian McCreerick. Hope I got your name correct, my friend. Thank you for your support, and thank you once again, everybody, for watching. Let me know what you think about the very best way to build Rakdos Prowess, and let me know if you want to see more of this deck. I would love to play it more often for you, but as always, I am at the mercy of the supporters and the viewers, and I am happy to bring you whatever it is you want to see. Certainly, whether or not we play more of this in the near future, we will be playing BGX midrange with the new Zendikar Rising cards, including Cleansing Wildfire and Jund, and including all kinds of potential new one-ofs in BG the Rock. So thanks again, guys, and I'll see you for those videos. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful night, and I'll talk to you soon.